Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is March 4th, 2023. This is episode 567. Today we're looking at Nightfall. This is a double feature Nightfall, meaning that it's like two comic books in one. It comes out from Vault Comics. This is the number 2 issue, and it features the Cemetarians and Denizen. Denizen gets a smaller billing here. So basically, it's two full comic books with at a $4.99 price. So it's actually kind of worth it if the stories are good. Now, the first issue, I thought the stories were a little bit drawn out, and I wasn't sure which direction they were going. I have a better indication now. It was kind of a wait-and-see type thing. I'm giving it a not recommend now on this after reading the second issue, and we'll get into the reasons for that in just a moment. This is a neat publication. I mean, I like the production on it. The art's pretty good throughout. I just thought the storylines, both of them, just kind of went off track, and I'm no longer interested in finding out what happens in either one. So to make things a little easier, I'm just going to flip right to the center where the credits are. We'll look at the Cemetarians first. The Cemetarians, I guess it's part 1 still, or part 2. Part 2 is like very hard to see there. The writer is Daniel Kraus. The artist is Mon House. The colorist is Kurt Michael Russell, and the letterer is Jim Campbell. Those for the Cemetarians. Now, for Denizen, also part 2, the writer is David Andre and Tim Daniel. The artist is Chris Sheehan. The colorist is Jason Wardy, and letterer is And World Design. Now, this first one is kind of a X-Files type spin-off to me, the Cemetarians. We've had these incidents going out through the world where these bones start popping out of things, everything, and they're all different sizes and shapes. They could be in a stuffed animal, a baseball. In this case, this story starts off with, or this issue starts off with, it's suddenly happening in an airplane where the whole structure, fuselage of the airplane is engulfed in these bones. And as you can see, they're more like fang-looking thorns, but they're supposed to be human bones. And our two, I guess, intrepid detectives that are on the case, they've been hired for the government, is Alan and the Reverend. Alan is kind of this nerdy STEM, I don't know what you want to call him, electronics freak, who's looking into things, and he's an atheist apparently. And then we have the Reverend, who's a woman, a priest, if you will, who's grew up as an army brat, and she's more the strong arm of the two, basically. So the Alan has used all these different parts of machines and such to come up with this machine that he calls Styx. He's just kind of cannibalizing things, and his whole intention is to be able to talk to the dead, if that is possible. And so they've been watching the news reports. They see all these different things happening. A skull inside of a basketball. People's lives have been just turned upside down. Cars are turning into skulls. Trains are derailing. Just all kinds of mayhem. And for some reason, they take off and decide to go to a pet cemetery, thinking that the creatures buried there are more pure. They haven't been embalmed with any kind of fluids or any other kind of chemicals. They're just straight put into the ground. And using Alan's machine, they actually pick up some strange readings, a dog barking and whatnot, but it's all kind of muddled and muffled and hard to understand. And they decide, let's take it to another cemetery, a human cemetery this time. They figured out, like, well, these people have not been embalmed or anything. It's a Civil War cemetery that they go to next. And they use their device. And as you can see, they're talking to the different soldiers buried there. And they all start speaking at once. The Reverend somehow can hear it. I don't know if she can actually talk to him. So she starts talking to him. And this is where she finds out that the earth is full of dead and there's no room left for it. So that's why all the bones are springing up. In the meantime, we've got this kind of cringy dialogue going on that really wasn't apparent in the first issue, but it gets cringy in the second issue. As you can see, there's like kind of like this love affair between the two starting up, even though all this weird stuff's happening around them. You think they'd be a little bit more concerned with that. So, yeah, I'm bowing out of this one. As you can see, the art is interesting, and just the story just went off track to me. So anyway, we'll go to the next one, which is the Denizen. And these are people that were out in a family that were out in a kind of like a desert resort, but kind of a rundown desert resort for RVs and trailers and such. And they have these flashbacks that don't make a lot of sense. Apparently this guy left his wife to die by herself. She had some kind of cancer or something like that. And so she's always saying, stay with me, stay with me. You can see he's heartbroken, but he has to leave. I don't believe this is the same guy as this, but maybe it is. Maybe this is from years later. But his name's Richard as well, so maybe it is the same guy. And the spirit of his dead wife has come back to haunt him. Now, there's something going on with this one trailer. His new wife goes inside, and they have a couple of kids, by the way. Goes in, and she's kind of affected by something that's in the trailer. It was never really made clear. Some kind of spirits from the dark. I'm not quite sure, but she comes back, and even though she seems to be okay here, she's got something going on with her. She's acting quite differently. She's getting very aggressive at times. She gets very flirtatious at other times, and then kind of flips it back on the other person. So we got a lot of weird stuff going on in this one. And I don't know if it's the campground that has got the issues or there's something else going, but each kid seems to have something. The two kids seem like they're each doing something kind of weird or seeing weird stuff. Just odd things going on. Not really gripping story. As you can see here, she's being attacked by these spirits or something while one of the daughters is looking in. I guess each one of them has a daughter. I don't believe they're the same. So the dad's making up something. The wife starts to get a little flirty with him and asks the kids to leave, so they can do some, I guess, hanky-panky, as we see here in this one. But like nothing, all of a sudden she turns on him and said, "Why'd you leave me? Why didn't you stay?" And this and that. So he's all confused. He doesn't know what's going on. Meanwhile, one of the daughters kind of starts freaking out as she's found some kind of sacred knife or something. I'm not quite sure what it is, but she stabs herself. And that is basically the end of the story. The other one has gone off for a hike, and she falls down into a ravine in Joshua Tree. If you've been to Joshua Tree before, it's these very, very large rock outcroppings. Not super high. I wouldn't, they go up a ways, but it's not like a mountain or anything. But people climb all over these rocks and such. Well, she falls down into one of them, and she runs across that guy that was from the flashbacks earlier. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with this one, but to me it's not interesting enough to keep buying this book. But I like the idea. I want to say Vault's done a good job on the production of this. I just can't recommend either one of these stories at this. They might sound better to you than they do to me, so, if you like kind of strange supernatural horror, then maybe this is the one for you. But for me, I do like those too, but I just don't think either story is strong enough to continue at this time. So thanks for stopping by and watching this review of the Nightfall double feature featuring the Cemetarians and Denizens. As always, please like, please subscribe if you haven't. Please leave comments if you wish, and we'll see you next time at the Temple of Tomes. I'm going to try to get back in the swing of these. I've been a little bit distracted lately with all taxes and home building and all kinds of stuff going on. I'm going to have another eye operation coming up. So anyway, I appreciate those new... Ooh, so you hear that? Those new subscribers that I've gotten over the last few weeks, even though I haven't done a lot. But please keep stopping in, and I'll keep doing these reviews. Got a few more to go. Thanks. As always, this is Indie Comics Jones bidding you adieu.